I want to bring Jonathan Sacerdoti into the conversation. Jonathan, we've been speaking periodically throughout the operation, of course, about anti-Semitic trends throughout Europe. We did cite, of course, many times Paris and Brussels as hotspots, and London perhaps as less. But the news coming out of London is probably most worrying now for British Jews, as it increasingly is more frequent than it has been before.
What's happened here with the Tricycle theatre is a good example of the British style of anti-Semitism. So while we're not necessarily seeing the bigger riots on the street against Jews, we are seeing organisations like the Tricycle Theatre, which is very happy to accept large amounts of UK government money, for example, £725,000 last year from the British state, despite its activities abroad, its so-called illegal wars and the like. But when it comes to a Jewish film festival, they've made it clear that they would not have the festival hosted in the cinema unless the Jewish film festival cut itself off from the Israeli embassy. So I think that many Jews I've spoken to here are of the opinion that this is definitely an anti-Semitic act, despite the protestations of the artistic director into Ruba Singham, who insists that she's not an anti-Semite because she says so. But many Jews seem to be disagreeing. And the 43-year-old artistic director, who's been in place for 2 years apparently, has insisted that she wouldn't have allowed the film festival to take place were it to be accepting money from any side in the current dispute. Those are their words, which is somewhat ridiculous because the idea of Hamas Arts Fund perhaps sponsoring a Jewish film festival really shows how idiotic that particular line of argument is. So when I asked them for an interview to clarify some of these points, I'm afraid they were reluctant to answer any questions, saying they would get back to me. Asking for a sit-down interview, they rejected the request altogether. So it seems that they're definitely worried about the coverage they're getting. And as Tal said just there, this isn't small news. It was in the Evening Standard yesterday where they had a 2-page spread interview with Ruba Singham. Right. It was on Newsnight last night, the BBC's flagship current affairs daily news programme. So this isn't going to just go away. And the Jewish Film Festival seems to have taken a principled position in responding that it wouldn't give up the relatively small amount of money that the Israeli embassy gave it and has always given it in order to put on this Jewish cultural event. And why should it? Why should a theatre in Kilburn dictate to Jews what their relationship with the state of Israel should be? That's what people are saying to me. I spoke to people on the street around the Tricycle yesterday, and one Jewish man told me he was in no doubt this was an act of anti-Semitism.
We'll definitely be looking towards the development of that story. Jonathan Sacerdoti, thank you for joining us from London. Tal Ofer, European Jewish Parliament member, thank you also for joining us from London. And we, of course, we will be following that story.